there, welcome back to my channel. It is of course Chelsea of She Designs Things, and in today's video I'm going to be answering questions that come up inside of the Google Sites subreddit. So of course, if you would like to know the answer to some of these questions, then stay tuned. Now, for the purpose of sharing how to solve some of these issues, I will be going through steps for some of the questions. For others, I'm just going to give a direct answer. So it just depends on the nature and how complex the question can be. So the first question is, I want to use the transparent fave icon. I want to use transparent logo as my fave icon. I already have the file as PSD, but I cannot use PSD files with Google Sites. Anyone have a trick for doing this? The only trick I recommend is saving that PSD file as a PNG and uploading the PNG file to your Google site in that spot that says fave icon. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And just as a quick side note for anyone who has a question about this, PSD files are not web files. They are graphic files that Adobe has. Like, they stand for, it's literally just a Photoshop design file. So it's a proprietary file, which means unless you're using Adobe as a web builder, it's not going to work. Usually what we do is we'll take a PSD file as like a web designer and turn it into an HTML file using HTML and CSS. But a PSD file on its own does nothing. Again, just proprietary software. So does not do anything for you in any website builder, not just your Google Sites. The next question is about the domain. So connecting the Google site to GoDaddy. It reads, I need help connecting a client's Google site to their GoDaddy domain. I do not have custom URL option and domain shows as parked in GoDaddy, but Google site shows it as viewable on the domain, but it is not. Please help. I've never worked with Google Sites. No problem. So the reason you don't have the option is because you are not the domain owner. As an editor in Google Sites, there are things that you simply cannot do, and there are things that only the website owner can do. To connect, usually the owner would have to follow the steps. I'm going to leave a link down to Stiegle's pages that they have already set up for connecting Google Sites. The reason I usually don't even bother to explain that is because Stiegle's site does a great job of explaining how to connect your Google site to the domain. But this is something you're going to want to share with the client because it's likely that you do not have access because you are not the owner of the website. So as a designer in Google Sites, you are just an editor and you'll have to walk your client through these steps. But just to give you kind of like a broad overview of what that looks like, here we have on Stiegle's site the option to, add a custom domain from personal Google Sites, and then also to map a custom URL in Google Workspace. Because these are two very, very, very different processes. One is way more complicated than the other because you'll have to do this site portion inside of, I think it's in the admin panel. Yeah, you'll have to do it in the admin panel. And then for custom, you really don't have to do it anywhere. You just kind of connect it, which for me, this was the easiest part. But obviously, you can't do this if you are not the owner. So make sure you send this information here to the owner, and the links will be in my description. So let me just expand on this question. Since I do have several clients who use Google Sites, here is Homes by Annie and David. It is a realtor site built inside of Google Sites, complete with, the LMS or MLS. That's what it is, the MLS. But regardless, if I were to click the link option, this is what I see, and I can copy the link. If I were to go over to where it says publish and select the options, I would see publish settings. And the only option that I have, because I am not the owner, is to see what it looks like here and change like the Google site, but the custom domain is located here. I do not have the option of changing this information because this is a site built with the workspace, and therefore only the admin using the admin panel or portal, whatever Google calls it, can make a change to this, not me. So just send that information again over to your client and have them take care of it. All right, so the next question says, what's the best way to simulate a social media wall blog of posts on a Google site with the new Google Sites? So I did answer this. I'm just answering it for this video, which is make an actual blog. We do not simulate in website builders. You either create it or you don't. If you're trying to make a mock-up of something, you can create like a stylized look, sorta, add some fake comments, and that's pretty easy to do. But if you want to create what it will actually look like based on, actual information, you're going to have to create a blog, either using Blogger or create a social media like wall or app or something. You can do this in app scripts. You can do this with a little bit of HTML and CSS. Just remember, you're not retrieving any data. So without having a place to store that data, you're definitely going to have to know a bit of Java, because you're going to have to, I think the best way to do it is just an app script. Go to app script and create like a blog style or social media wall, and connect that set of data, like people posting and comments, all that, to a Google Sheet. And that'll probably be the best way to simulate it, but you're still actually doing the work. So I always say, like, if it's something this intricate, your best bet is to either look for third-party things that already exist that have blog posts, such as Blogger, or actually do the work, because you're not going to be able to simulate what it's actually going to look like in the Google site without doing the work. Next question. It sounds kind of funny. Anyone know how to make a button scroll down to a specific place on the page? Trying to make it so once you press a button, it will scroll past everything on the site to the desired destination. I don't want to link to it, as scrolling through the site is part of the thing I'm trying to do. It would also be cool if I could control the scroll speed or play an audio track while it's scrolling. So there are a couple things I could say. You can either create a full HTML page that does everything you're looking to do and use the full page embed option in your Google site. You'd have to use HTML and CSS to style this page to do everything that you are requesting. Keep in mind, though, I do realize with the scroll down with Google Sites, I've tried it to make it work that way, and for some reason I just could not get it to work. The Google reads the sections as a redirect, so it tries to go to a new actual page. It doesn't read it as a section. It's something that I must have written wrong with the HTML, but I'll have to figure that out. But either way, if you simply want to just scroll down to a page, you can use the table of contents option, which is located in the Google panel. And that table of content option, you can hide every page that you don't want to scroll down to. Now, you can't play any music or get anything like fancy or control the speed, but it does give you that option of scrolling, down to that particular section. And I did also answer this question, but for the sake of this video, I decided to answer it again. So this question, I'm going to kind of paraphrase because I did also answer this one. Visited links aren't changing color on my website. Is there a way to activate this and or change color of visited links? The short answer is no. That's it. The short answer is just no. Unfortunately, you do not have the option to set like when someone has visited a site and set that color that way. We do not have access to the website header nor to like the tracking information, so the cookies information that would be able to help us set that as you've visited this site. There's only one way of doing it, which is to create your own custom full page embed, or to use the embed feature to add your own HTML with your links that will do that. That's it. That's the only thing you can do, unfortunately. All right, so it's nice to see that so many of you are taking my suggestion to hiding that god awful menu and creating your own menu using text. However, I should explain a little bit more about that text. You want to use the spacing option to allow your text to sit a little bit smaller on the page, and just use the spacers to add the actual space. So where it says compact, and I'll kind of show you what I'm talking about. So if you're using like a button, which is what I'm using here, versus just regular text, whenever you're using the button option and you want that button to look, somewhat decent, just go down into the themes panel, check the spacing and make sure that it's compact. This works also if you're using text, because if you say that you want it to be comfortable or cozy, especially when you say comfortable, which is like going to cut your text off, and then when you're looking at it, especially like on a phone, your text is gonna go and drift over there to off to the side. But also just make sure when you're using text that you center the text if you're going to be using the text to create like that pseudo menu for your Google site. So just make sure that you follow those steps, center your text, and try as much as possible to use the compact feature and add spacers. All right, so the next question is, how do I create an account system? I want to, it's just TO, create an option for people viewing my site, again TO, make an account for that site, kinda like social media. Is this possible? I think it is possible, but I do not recommend it. I don't think anyone should be doing this because Google Sites is meant simply as a website builder, which means it's meant to show or share information, not meant to receive information. If you are wanting something to receive data, to take in information, you need to have some back-end development done, or use a different platform. Now, again, you can hide the page, if it's a specific page, you can hide the page. And then what you could do is create a newsletter. And then once that newsletter is up and running and people sign up, just have the newsletter route people to that particular page. Alright, so I do hope this video was helpful in answering some of your questions. These weren't the most common questions that I see. I'll try to make a separate video regarding the most common questions I receive regarding Google Sites, especially the ones that I see inside of Reddit or subreddits. So another thing is, when it comes to newsletters, just keep in mind I do have my own newsletter, which you can find on my website, shedesignsthings.com. It's located in the footer. Now, I do receive quite a few emails like, where's the free thing? My emails are triggered, so you are not going to receive all of my emails at once. So if you are trying to get like a specific a specific design that I have or that I give away for free. If you email me about it, I probably will not answer because I just don't have the time, and most of the time outside emails go to my spam box. But be patient and it'll definitely show up. If there's an error, however, like sometimes somebody will say like, I can't access this site and they're getting like an error, just let me know, because that means there's something wrong so that I can fix it and then fix it for everyone. All right, again, thanks so much for watching, and of course, laters.